Early 2021 would see Red Bull speedrunning explode in popularity due to many runners being exposed to the game from its maximum viral growth and there being a dedicated community for anyone interested to join. Still, Red Bull on its own was an incredibly popular franchise with a variety of spin-offs and sequels under the title Red Bull, one of these being an obscure 2009 port of the original game to the iPhone system. Red Bull Mobile, for the most part, had mixed reviews with its glitchiness, microtransactions, and heavy-handed ad placement putting many people off. Still, the game was able to attract a sizable audience, and over the next 12 years, we would see a handful of updates, including the addition of some new worlds, which aren't really that good, and game adjustments. Fast forward to 2021, and now a small but dedicated community of runners surround the game, proving their times and pushing the sub-free barrier. But how and why? Join me today as I go over the history of Red Bull Mobile and its speedrunning community. Red Bull Mobile is one of several mobile ports and spin-offs from the Red Bull franchise, and is definitely one of the more obscure ones, limited by a paywall on levels 9 through 17 of the original world, as well as the great differences between the game's physics and the layouts of certain levels, dissuading both casual players and the pre-existing speedrunning community from trying to run the game. Despite this, its history as a speed game extends far into the past, with the first run on record, a 17-level run of Red Bull Pro, coming from August 8th of 2018, more than 2 years before 17 levels would be playable on PC again, with clocking in at 710. After another 2 years of dormancy, Geo would get another record at 601. And aside from some mention of how the game's new physics engine would allow sub-20 terrain to be hit pretty much consistently, Red Bull Mobile would yet again fade into obscurity. That is, until December. December would see the community start talking about and looking into Red Bull Mobile, with Game Guy SD being the one to take charge of the discussion and quickly finding several new strats in Red Bull Mobile, including lag abuse, which I'll touch on later. Discussions would continue, and by January the Red Bull Mobile channel would be made in the Discord, coinciding with Game Guy's 12-level run at 3 minutes 14 seconds. A week later, Mario would actually upload a link to an Android APK of the mobile version, which is based off the 2018 version of Red Bull Mobile. After that, progress would slow down until February, when the community around Red Bull Mobile would start realizing how strong lag abuse was. Okay, lag abuse is pretty straightforward. When holding right, bringing up the control center and then quickly bringing it down causes Red Bull to go warp speed, with plenty of skips to be taken advantage of. While the lag abuse category didn't see any major development, the surge of skips would also see interest grow for glitchless Red Bull categories, with skips in levels such as fast, free developing. February would also see its Phineas arrive, who would help organize the individual level spreadsheet as well as putting up a guide on how to download Red Bull Mobile on Android. With all these developments, it would make sense that on March 12th, Red Bull Mobile would be officially added to the category extensions leaderboard, as well as having an 8 levels category being added, due to the paywall looming over levels 9 through 17. By April, 12 levels stood at a time of 308, just 4 seconds off of Rare EG's record at the time. With plenty of skips being found throughout the run, sub-free seemed like it graced mobile before hitting the mainstream. The issue was that Red Bull Mobile was a really small community, especially compared to the few hundred strong community regular Red Bull had. That problem would be exacerbated once Phineas would leave the server, meaning Game Guy was the only active runner. But soon enough, that would change. In May, a couple of runners would start being active, the most notable ones being Bluv and this guy. June would see an uptick in activity, with interest in the game growing, and by July the 8-level record had been lowered to a 124, as some 10 people had runs on the leaderboard. As the months continued, the community became more active, with more and more runs happening by the day. Still, sub-free seemed to be the one achievement that eluded the community, though progress was being made, with a 119.305 being achieved by Game Guy on July 13th. This would have been a sub-free if it wasn't for level 12. Yeah, it's not a very fun level without Spike Glitch. The rest of the summer would pass by with some interesting developments, including the beginning of a hunt for Fast 7, a strategy that's probably possible but ridiculously precise to hit. On top of that, early August we finally see iOS and Android be split into their own leaderboards on the category extension site, though there were some technical difficulties. Now, the community was truly becoming active, and soon even more players would join in. In September, Lombre and Alex Castillo would start running the game, with Lombre getting a strong 126 in iOS 8 levels, and Alex achieving a sweep across Android with a current time of 138, 345, 704. A few days after those two would arrive, a third runner joined and started running iOS, Jacoby. His first run would come at an okay 330 in 12 levels, but he would start making rapid progress, and by October, he was at a point where he could challenge Game Guy for the first sub-3. And by October 23rd, he dinched Game Guy out with a 303. An incredibly impressive run. It still lacks certain strategies such as fast 3, meaning that with some simple improvements, sub-3 would finally be real. And in just 5 days, it was. Jacoby and the entire mobile community had finally broken the last-minute barrier, and at a 258 were just 5 seconds off regular Red Bull's 253. Okay, so this is just an update. A couple hours before I was recording this, as it turns out, Jacoby managed to beat his run yet again with a 252, meaning that now officially Red Bull Mobile is faster than Red Bull on PC. And so now it's just a fight for, sub 250. Yeah. Jacoby's run is really good, but still it's far from perfect, and several strats could easily be implemented to break the sub 250 barrier, potentially meaning Red Bull Mobile could be ahead of regular Red Bull in terms of time. Not only that, but lag abuse in complete runs hasn't been explored at all, meaning anyone, even you, could claim a record across the 3 different categories that allow it. Now, however, the community is mainly focused on a segmented glitchless run project, the first of its kind actually. Still, Red Bull Mobile is a small but dedicated community, much like Red Bull in its early stages. So why not tag along and see it grow into something great? Thank you for watching. This is definitely like a short video in terms of like my over uploads, but still it's about a subject I really care about. So I'm really happy, if you made it this far, if you watched all of it. So, thank you for watching. If it's gotten you interested in like speedrunning this game, then like feel absolutely free to join the Discord and go into the Red Bull Mobile category. Android or iOS, it doesn't really matter. We're always happy to see new faces, So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video, hopefully.